Here at Anderson Seed and Garden, we've been brewing compost tea for quite a few years, and you may have tried it before in the past. We've got a special promotion that we're going to do this year that will be one of the best we've ever done with compost tea. Before I really explain the promotion, I'm going to tell you what the compost tea does. Now, a compost tea is basically a natural fertilizer. It usually comes from worm castings, and it's full of microbes and microorganisms that break down all kinds of different materials. So it'll break down decomposing organic matter, it'll help break down pesticides, it will basically pre-digest fertilizers and nutrients and make it available to the plant. So those little microbes and microorganisms, they basically eat up and digest whatever's out there. It can be diseases, it can be nutrient, it can be organic matter, it can be even toxins that have built up in your soil. So the compost tea is amazing in how it will break down materials that are out in your soil and free up nutrient, make it available to your plants. So what we've done in the past is we've had tea bags basically like this. This is from a company called Extreme Gardening, and when we carry these tea bags, you can brew your own. And the best way to brew the tea is you take the tea bags that have the worm castings, and it's got kelp in there and molasses and humate, and there's a lot of different materials in there to feed the microbes and to make them multiply. So you want to take that basic tea bag, and we put the nutrient package in with it, and then we put it in a great big brewer, which is a 75-gallon tank, and it infuses air into the tank. And so we infuse air into that for at least 24 hours. You can do it longer as well too, but for 24 hours we'll infuse air into that tank, and it just kind of percolates that tea. Well, what happens is the millions of microbes that are in the compost tea, they start to multiply. And they multiply and they multiply. I like that aeration in that water, and they multiply until there's billions of them. So they will multiply exponentially in just a short amount of time. And the more microbes that are in your compost tea, the more effective that it works. So we've got the compost tea in the brew bags like this, but we also have a liquid form which comes from Bush Doctor, and this is one you can just like mix up in water and then percolate it. We use an air stone. If you've got a smaller, like a 5-gallon container, you want to percolate it, do it yourself. It's really easy to do, but the microbrew works great. But what we're going to do that's a little bit different this year is we're going to add a little bit more fertilizer in with our compost tea. And the fertilizer we're adding in is this Fertilixir from Seedlingers. Now the Fertilixir from Seedlingers is an all natural fertilizer. It will be very compatible as a compost tea. It'll have the earthworm castings in there, it will have the kelp, it will have everything that it needs, plus a little bit of an extra boost in there, and we're going to brew it every single day. So we'll have compost tea here at the store for you to pick up every single day. You can bring your own jugs and you can fill up your own jugs, but what we're offering is we're going to do, and this is just a prototype of what our container is going to look like, but we'll have containers that will look very similar to this, and it'll have our logo on there, it'll have Seedlingers logo on there as well too, and you can purchase the containers, and they should be right around $8 for a container, but you can bring the container back all summer long and refill it for free. So basically you'll be able to buy a container instead of having to scrounge one of your milk jugs or a 5-gallon bucket or something up to bring in and fill up. You can actually come in and buy one of our containers, and you'll be able to bring that specific container back in with our logo on it, and you'll be able to refill it as many times as you need during the summertime for free. So initial purchase of the container, and then you can come in and get free refills all summer long. So it'll be a nice heavy duty durable container. You'll be able to use it all season long, and every time you bring it in, we'll be glad to just fill it up with a gallon of compost tea you can take in and fertilize your plants with it. So what you really want to do with the compost tea is when you're transplanting plants, or if you've got plants that are struggling a little bit and you want to just perk them up and make them grow, with that extra Seedlingers in there with our compost tea brewing, you'll be able to water those plants with it. It'll perk them up, it'll give them a burst of energy, but it'll also do a lot of other things in your soil. Like I said, it'll break down toxins or other fertilizers that have built up over time. It will break those down and decompose them, digest the fertilizer, make that available to your plants, and then if you also get it all over the plant, like if you pour the compost tea on, say, your tomato plant or your squash plant, it'll actually break down diseases that may be developing on the plant, like powdery mildew. It'll actually eat up the powdery mildew as well too. gets in there, breaks down organic matter. So if you put a lot of compost out there, it will continue that decomposition process and break that compost down and free up more nutrient for your plants. So it's really very amazing how the compost tea actually works. We'll be brewing it every day here at Anderson Seed and Garden. You can come in and buy one of our refillable containers and be able to fill it up with refills all summer long for free. And I think it's a great promotion. It's a great opportunity for you to use a great organic fertilizer and a compost tea combination, and your plants are going to respond like crazy.